Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to show you how I make this adorable cup topper for your tumblers. These tumbler toppers are all the rage right now, so I thought I'd show you what my favorite way to create these is. I'll drop links to the supplies I use down below. Here's a rundown of all the supplies you're going to need. A tumbler lid, little tiny magnets. Psst, I get these at Dollar Tree for $1. They're a great deal. Then you're going to use some little fake plastic ice chips, your plastic fruits. These I find on Amazon. One of the key items you're going to need is a car coaster mold. The accessory that I'm going to show you how to work with today is this little tiny umbrella. And then of course you also need your favorite glitter colors, a hot glue gun, and some UV resin. And like I said, I will drop the links for all these items below in the description so you can find them and reference them easy. I'm going to be using Quick Cure Epoxy, Part A and Part B. This is our rapid cure. It dries in 10 minutes. I'm going to be using this mainly just to show you guys a quick tutorial, but you can use any epoxy, the molding epoxy or our pouring art epoxy. Once your epoxy is almost completely dry, you're going to take 2 magnets and you're going to press them firmly into the epoxy. If your epoxy is already dried, you can just use a little extra epoxy and go ahead and stick this on there. Then you're going to place it on top of your tumbler and gauge an idea of where the magnets need to go. Stick the magnets on there, and then you're going to use a little bit more of your epoxy. I'm going to be using the Quick Cure, again, to make this go as quickly as possible. Dab it right on the lower set of the magnets. Flip it over and put it right down on the lid. You're going to hold that firmly in place until that epoxy completely dries, or leave it overnight. And now you can see one set of the magnets is stuck to the tumbler and the other side is stuck onto the car coaster disc. The next step is to mix up a little bit more of the Rapid Cure epoxy and apply it down on top of the disc. I apply my ice chips while the disc is magnetized to the lid, and that way I get a good gauge of where the ice chips should go and how much farther I can go out without interrupting the contact of the magnets to the tumbler lid. Apply your ice chips liberally along the bottom, making sure they all have contact with that Quick Cure epoxy. Let it sit for about 10 minutes, and that first layer will be very firm and nicely attached. On your next step, you're going to decide what fun fruits you want to add to the top. You can see I gave mine a little wedge slice so that it settles down into the ice really well. And I use my UV resin to tack it down in place, to kind of use it like a hot glue and just hold it down. And then once it's kind of firmly attached, I'm going to go in and add even more UV resin to make sure it's really, really well gripped onto that ice. Once I have my lemons, limes, and other little goodies attached on by using the UV resin, I'm going to go ahead and start building up the ice chips all the way around the topper. At first I'm going to use hot glue to just hold them in place temporarily while I build the entire thing up. Then I'm going to go through with my UV resin and just drizzle the UV resin down in the cracks and go ahead and cure it under a UV light, and that's going to make this a nice permanent solid piece. This is the next fun part. I know you guys have been waiting to see how I do this. It's really simple. I just take a little paper umbrella and I apply some UV resin right around the top. Very gently spread that UV resin out and around the umbrella with your finger. You do want to be careful because the paper of the umbrella is delicate. But what we're doing here with the UV resin is we're making this a lot more durable so that it can be used and it's not going to get damaged. If you were to leave this umbrella on there just as the paper, it would definitely get torn and worn out very, very quickly. But by adding a nice coat of the UV resin, it's going to make it a little bit more permanent. For the underneath side, I do the same technique, but in the middle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the middle up with a little trough of UV resin. This is going to make it really sturdy and stable. It's only going to be about 1/4 inch deep. It's going to be very shallow, but it is going to be a little extra UV resin right around the base to hold it steady. I also make sure to go around the trunk of the stem to make sure that that's held in place as well, so the umbrella won't collapse on me. Then I just trim the bottom of the toothpick, and I just work around the tumbler and kind of look at it and place it and see where it's going to look the absolute cutest attached onto the tumbler. And then from there, I'm going to use UV resin to solidify it in place as well. Now I know this was a very quick tutorial, but I wanted to get this info out to you guys. I did this live in my Facebook group and everyone had so many questions, so I said I'm just going to post it real quick to YouTube so that you guys can see what I do. I know that most of the interest was surrounding the umbrella and how I did it, but really the umbrella is very, very easy to make. Just make sure you coat the entire umbrella with the UV resin. Cure it completely under the UV light before you apply it to your tumbler. And here's the finished result. It's super usable, very adorable. Because of the car coaster, you have a nice little hole in the topper where your straw can go through right through the top of the lid and not interfere with that at all. The magnets grip on really, really tight so that you can hold this guy. You can see it can go right upside down. It holds on nice. The magnets grip it, but it's not permanent. So if you need to wash your lid, you just remove the topper, throw your lid in the dishwasher, and then it's ready to go. And once it's cleaned, you can just put your topper right back on. When I did this live, I had a lot of questions about where I bought all my supplies. So we do have a little supply list for all these goodies on our Amazon shopping list. I will drop those links below. If you guys have questions, please drop them below. I do come back and check questions, and I will try to answer as many as I can. If I can't, my team will be there to answer them for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. It's a nice quick one. It's just to show you guys this fun technique and this fun little thing that I do. The key to this one is to use the car coaster for in your car to make the base for your topper. And then don't forget your UV resin. It's a very key tool in this tumbler. If you want to join a community with a lot of other crafters and tumbler makers, come join us at Lily and Rose Tumblers and Epoxy Art. You can also find us at Superfly DIY on Snapchat.